from?
My mom's vagina.
What?
Where do you think I'm from? I sell kebab, not sushi.
Can you all hear that? Because I can't hear. Can you all hear? Can somebody write in the chat if you can hear or not? Because
Yeah,
I can't hear.
it's heard. It's you can hear it on the live.
I can't
Oh,
hear it.
can you all can hear it? I just can't hear it.
Yeah.
I cannot.
Well, can't hear it.
Well, it's on it. You might not hear it through the Zoom, but you can hear it on the show. Well, anyway, let's get started. This is DFG, the man with the golden voice, the lady's choice, and of course, smooth as a Rolls Royce. I'm coming to you live from the 571 where I'm having fun and I'm getting things done. This show tonight is going to be hosted by my newly minted brother-in-law, the man who don't look like coleslaw, but he's also a pawpaw. DJ Dabs, introduce yourself.
What's up? What's up? This is DJ Das from Duval. How y'all doing?
Everything is everything. Everything is everything. You're the co-host, so you can share your screen if you want, or
Hey,
you
yeah.
can have I could co-drive for you.
All right. Yeah, I got a couple videos I want to share. Um, so let's see. Tonight's show, we're talking about. I don't know if anyone's heard about the new upcoming um towns and white towns in America. Or it's the first one started actually in Arkansas, and they're trying to expand now. They're moving towards Missouri and Tennessee. So um, there is a supremacist community group defining themselves as the following. They call themselves the Return to the Land. It's a private membership association for individuals and families with traditional views and community continental ancestries. We hold events and conferences, and we have group members from European heritage. Not allowed Black families, gay people. And then there's a couple of videos I'm showing. They talk about, they don't really mention it, but so Black, gays, Jews, all these people are not allowed to in this particular community. So let me show you the first video. I'm gonna play a couple minutes from each one of them because mostly it's the same people talking, but they're talking about starting up this thing in each community. So let me know if you can see my screen. All right. Can you guys see it?
Yes, we can see your screen.
All right.
You want a white nation? Build a white town.
And I'm organized with like-minded
people. We're part of a living tradition that we can't lose.
We were up early this morning to go to a whites-only town in rural Arkansas. Eric, who runs the town, is all over social media. He's going on every YouTube and podcast, very prominent neo-Nazis and white supremacists and anti-Semites in the US. And they're letting CNN come visit them. There he is. Tony O'Sullivan, nice to meet you. And how many acres have you got here? Or
160.
okay,
Ish.
it's pretty sizable.
That is a pavilion, or will be a pavilion. Just a place to meet up.
What does somebody have to do, or what does somebody have to be to come live here?
You have to be someone who identifies with your European heritage and ancestry.
So European, white.
Those are synonyms to me.
Right now, there's about 40 or so people living here, give or take. But you tell me there's hundreds of people want to move here. Hundreds of people have applied.
Yeah, there are quite a few people waiting to be interviewed.
Wow. Are they all racist?
Well, it depends on what you mean by racist. Are they racist in the sense that they hate other groups of people and want to deprive other groups of people of resources or opportunities? No.
People like Eric are afraid that white Americans are being replaced, and a projection from the US Census has them worried. I think America is due to become a minority white country for the first time in the 2040s. Are you concerned about that?
Of course I'm concerned about that. And look what's happened in South Africa, right? White people used to run that country. When the tides turned and political control was given to non-white people there, people have to live behind bars and be very cautious. There's private security everywhere.
But these fears aren't confined to rural Arkansas.
The greatest invasion in history is taking place right here in our country.
They're everywhere.
In political terms, this policy is called the Great Replacement.
And the name of one white minority country keeps coming up.
Terrible things are happening in South Africa. The leadership is doing some terrible things, and there's horrible things. So
Indeed, Eric took inspiration from a whites-only town in South Africa for what he's building here in Arkansas.
Many of us imagine, what is this going to look like when we are actually a minority? And so we see what's happening in South Africa, and we say, is that going to be us?
Trump has even claimed a so-called white genocide is happening in South Africa.
but it's a genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to write about.
Welcome to the United States of America.
He's used this as a reason to open up the US refugee program to white South Africans, something that in the US has become the butt of late-night jokes.
President Trump has signed an executive order giving refugee status to white people from South Africa. I could have sworn that white people had it good in South Africa. Must be the Mandela effect.
Specifically, Trump is giving refugee status to Afrikaners.
These are the descendants of the people who created the most dialogue.
This one. Anybody got any views on that video?
I just want to say, if they want to live in their town, that's fine. And it's good that we know where they're at, but we won't go to their town. But at the same time, don't step outside of your town.
Exactly. I agree with that.
And then there's been a lot of talk, of course, coming from the opposing side that all Black people are mad at this happening. And it's just like, all these videos that show that people like, why are we mad? What we got to be mad about? I'm more happy to get rid of more of y'all.
Yeah, if they all wanted to go and stay in that town, I would be good with that.
All right, anybody else?
But Debs, I was on a TikTok today, and they were discussing and what really caught me. I normally don't tap on the live, but there was a MAGA lady on there, and they were somehow talking about reparations. She said people need to work hard. I said Black people have worked hard. I said we have worked hard, and y'all burned everything down, and y'all killed us when we got professions. Doctors were killed, and etc. And they were coming so hard at her, and they had people that, I don't know if they were into law, but they knew the policies. I mean, really knew the policies. And they were asking her questions. And she said, well, I got one Black granddaughter. And they say, ma'am, just stop.
Right.
And, in the end, she was like, well, Obama, and she said the best president we had was Clinton. I said, are you kidding me? I said, Clinton was responsible for mass incarceration, which was another form of slavery because it was free prison labor.
Right.
So she was just, and then finally, when it got so hot, she said, well, I just don't feel comfortable around Black people and immigrants. And I think that they do need to close some borders because they don't need to let them in. They were like, okay, there it is.
Yeah.
You finally said the quiet part out loud. And then she left.
For me, it just shows you the paranoia
of white. Another one.
Because if you think about people of color, we're the most spiritual people, we're the strongest,
That has
we're the
lots of
most physically
historical
gifted.
uses of the term white. For legal
Can you hear me?
It was an accident.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, what I was saying was it just shows you the paranoia of white people because they've always revealed that they are uncomfortable around people of color. And when you think
Right.
about it, we're the most spiritual people on this earth. We're the strongest. We are the smartest. We're the most physically gifted. And they feel inferior, but they can run, but they can't hide. They can go to that little backwood place in Arkansas, but there are Black people and people of color everywhere. So eventually, we're going to migrate there as well.
Yeah, right. And it's funny too, because in the next video there's a guy who kind of mentions what you just said, and then they're talking about being separated and being scared, like you said, being scared. It's just they don't know, they're ignorant to the fact of who we are and what we are. And it's not like it's not like there's towns, and he kind of mentions there's towns in the United States now that are there's a lot of little small towns that are pretty much all white towns, or they don't proclaim it to be that way. And then we know from back in the day, there was the what do they call them, night towns? They were the shut down sundown towns. So with sundown towns, and you can look at a sundown town, I guess both ways. One of it was not necessarily not having Black people there, but Black people knew by a certain time of night that they need to be at a, they shouldn't be walking around town. And I kind of looked at it, doing a little bit of research and thinking back, when I was down in California in Watts, that was a sundown town for white people, because you wouldn't hang around, you wouldn't be out down after dark, down in Watts. It just wouldn't happen. But let me go ahead and click this next video.
lived in a
Let me share it.
Hey, Madam D has a hand up.
Okay, go ahead, Mom.
I just wanted to make a quick comment.
Yeah.
So, that I've been thinking about saying, that Black people, we are like, if you're with us, if you're the only white and you're with us, we got your back. Like if we invite you to something, we got your back. But that Nolan Wells situation, if that had been all Black with a white guy, that would never have happened, because we just that kind of people. Like if you with us, we got you.
Right.
But they not like that.
All right, let me click this one on.
Black neighborhood for quite a while. I saw how they treated white people. It's not very good. And yet, all the hate is on white males.
You would get beat up if you said something racial to a Black person. You saw that happen. Yes.
They said something like, man, the hood ain't the hood anymore. As in, like, they were unhappy with my response.
Almost exclusively white communities exist all around the United States off of paper, merely because of socioeconomics, in that if you are wealthy enough, everyone who becomes wealthy enough will buy into a more or less white-only gated community. But I would not be able to afford that outside of, working my entire life to build up a bunch of businesses. But I would like to have kids.
I want my kids to be taught that their ancestors did great things, not that they were the villains of history.
Correct. And Arkansas is nice. As far as I know, the laws are you just need to let them know that you're going to be homeschooling. And then after that, there's no testing that you need to do, or they don't really check up on you.
The first community that really went after us was the r/Jewish subreddit. I had CPS come out here because they had complained to CPS trying to get my kids taken away. The health department has come out here. They just blanket made complaints to everyone. I mean, I do have Mein Kampf, but I think that's just historically relevant.
Who read that one?
Mein Kampf.
Yeah.
Hitler.
Oh, shit.
He's sort of the central villain of the 20th century. If you don't understand what he thought, then you're, again, missing a big piece of history. Did he make mistakes? I believe so.
What do you think the biggest mistake was?
Invading the Sudetenland.
None of the other stuff.
The other stuff? Well, it depends on what you mean.
Just like the Holocaust and everything.
Holocaust? I don't know. Everybody thinks Genghis Khan is cool and he killed more people than Hitler. The question is like how fast that will take for Hitler to be as cool as Genghis Khan. I don't know. Total brown Gorper victory.
What's your favorite thing to cook?
I like making tacos. That's fun.
Despite the fact that we do have, taco nights sometimes, we also have traditional European food nights. I really love breaded chicken, like fried chicken. I like pizza. I like typical stuff.
Look, I was a big Dr. Dre guy for like my teenage years when I was like working out and everything like that. But then I was like, I don't think it is as soothing to my soul. And that goes back to just like anthropological data that we have about the difference between like rhythm and harmony.
What about you?
I don't listen to rap music. I listen to gospel music.
Okay. Who's your favorite gospel artist?
Probably Skillet.
You say Skrilla?
Skillet.
Skillet. What do they sing about?
It's like a rock Christian band.
Okay, cool.
Hardcore, we love Jesus.
Can Greeks live here?
They're European.
How about Central Asian Caucasians?
They're not European.
But the Caucasus Mountains, Caucasian ancestral birthplace, is technically in Central Asia.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. Some Italian Americans, like in Staten Island, think they're not white.
Oh,
they say I'm not white, I'm Italian.
Yeah, and that has a lot to do with the historical uses of the term white. For legal reasons, I believe Italians and Irish were actually always considered white.
Thank you.
Can
you show us around, you think?
Sure, of course.
You're watching Channel 5 News, broadcasting live from the Mojave mainframe. And today, we have a special report.
All right. Any takes on that video?
Hey, the way I see it, Big Dabs, is that I got to be careful because I don't need us to get kicked off, but they always looking to be victimized. Everything they say, well,
yeah,
I did this, I did that, but there's no real evidence that supports what they're saying. I always ask, name a time in U.S. history where white towns were burned down by Black people, or white churches were burned down by Black people, or white people were lynched by Black people. Usually you get crickets. And their thing is, well, they said that I was a racist, so I'm going to be a racist because they said I was racist. That makes zero sense. I mean, you was racist anyway, and they just called you out on it. And now you can't hide behind that. But a lot of their grievances are, for lack of a better term, a lot of grievances are in their heads because that's, they can't get Black folks off their mind. And the thing is, they don't know Black people. They know of them, they know of us, but they don't know Black people. We know white people because we had to as a survival mechanism, like Madam D said earlier. We had to be able to survive. So we have to know. You have to know who can hurt you.
Right.
And Madam D has her hand up.
Yeah, when you look at the TV and all these Trump policies and all the MAGA and Trump supporters that are whining, they're mostly rural white people. You don't see Black people on there whining about SNAP. It's mostly white people.
And I got a question about another thing about the video and because there's a couple more where they talk about it, but even in these last two, does anybody know why or have an inkling why they can't just admit that they're racist by saying all the things that they say, or the people they don't want to be involved, or why they want to get away?
Big Al had his hand up. Oh, sorry.
Big Al.
Yeah, I think the deeper issue is there is an innate fear among white people based upon all the brutality and savagery that they imparted on Black Americans, Native Americans. They're fearful that one day, if they become the minority, that we're going to flip the script and do some of those horrible things to them that they did to us. And I think that's the bigger problem. They're just afraid of us becoming the majority, and that we may decide to make them slaves, and we should, take out restitution, not in a monetarian fashion, but in terms of whipping some ass and hanging and doing some of the things that they did to us.
Alton, do you think that if it did happen, would you be a good slave master?
No,
No.
no. But and that goes back to my point originally, that we're some of the most spiritual people. So yes, I would replay Roots and some of the things that happened in that movie. I'm old enough to remember being in a sundown city. I'm old enough to remember where my dad, who worked at a Exxon refinery, he couldn't walk through the same gate as his white cohorts.
Right.
During lunch, my dad and other men of color had to sit outside in the elements, while the white guys were able to sit inside during the winter and the summer months. So th- God, as our spiritual guide, would allow me not to be as harsh as some of the slave masters were back in the day. I'm
Right.
just not that type
Okay.
of person.
That makes sense. Madam D has a hand up.
Well, it might not have. I might have took it down, but I was thinking because somebody had put it on social media where they were saying that, and y'all might have seen it about the Planet of the Apes, how the apes were like the black people and white people were enslaved by the black people, and that's what they're afraid of. Did
Mm.
y'all see
It,
that?
it was, yeah, that was the premise of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah,
When in the movies, the way it was portrayed was that Charlton Heston thought he was on another planet, but he realized at the end, remember, it was like you did it because they did a atomic bomb in the original ones, that they realized that it was Earth, and that the apes took over and the humans couldn't speak, and then the apes became civilized, and they were treating humans like the humans treated animals, and
Right.
that was a kind of a nightmare scenario for the white supremacists, saying, hey, if we don't, we keep messing, if we keep them, and that's why they were like genocide and all those other good things, because if they did that, they would, a lot of that stuff would, they think it would come true, but like Big Al was saying, is that they're always scared that we're going to do them what they did to us, regardless of whether we would or not. Now, I mean, will some people do that? Yeah. I'm not, I'd be lying if I said they wasn't, but it's not, we too busy trying to live our own lives and trying to get, trying to make sure that our people are good. Y'all do what y'all want to do. Just stay away, just leave us alone, leave us be. But if they leave us alone, in 2 generations, we'll surpass them in almost everything. That's
Right.
not
exactly.
that that is not me just making wild accusations. It's historical.
Yeah.
2 generations from emancipation, black people were almost at parity with white people, and they couldn't stand that. Go ahead, Dr. Fab.
Well, you know what? I asked Alton, would he be a good slave master? Now, y'all might think bad of Dr. Fabulous, but I think if the roles were reversed, I think I'd be an excellent slave master, because I'm telling you the real deal. Because when I lived in South Florida, it was, how can I say, when I had a girl Friday, or I had a maid, I'm just gonna go on and call it what it was. I had a maid to come in, and I'm not gonna tell you a fairy tale. I would get a white person just because I wanted to feel superior. And I know that might sound crazy, but I always said, see, when the shoe is on the other foot, how do you feel catering to me? And I look at it like this because when people become of a certain stature and they have all the extras, the added extras, and y'all gonna say, now, Dr. Fabulous, you shouldn't be saying this, but when I look at some of the athletes, some of the male athletes, some of the black athletes, they always go and get a white woman, and then I feel like they feel like they're now the slave master because they got them a white woman. So I may be wrong, and I may be wrong at religiously, and all that good stuff. But I think that if the roles were reversed, I know without a shadow of a doubt there would be many African Americans who would be excellent slave masters. And I know you say we are the most refined, most religious, most spiritual people, but I, how can you say, I think that it would just be, now the shoe is on the other foot. That's all I got to say. And everybody is different, but that's it for me.
Yeah, let me clarify my point. Uh, from a slave master's perspective, I would not be brutal. I would not be as inhuman as our white slave masters were to us. So, yes, I would probably have me a couple of white slaves and I would feel good about that role reversal, but I would not be as brutal to them as they were to us, if that makes sense.
I wouldn't have a white person because they don't clean good.
You know,
Well,
Baby, mine cleaned like a wondrous worker, and if she missed a spot, I made sure I sweep. Her name was Helen. Helen, you missed something. I sure did.
I know. Look, I feel the same way you feel, Dr. Fab. I probably would have felt inferior to that person, and I would have hired a white person. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't feel that they clean good enough, so I would hire a Mexican.
Your mama was calling. Come call your mama back.
But yeah,
Did you
that's
did you say a
that's
Mexican person?
Yeah, I'll hire a Mexican.
Well,
They
listen,
can
let me tell
clean.
you, that's what
They
we
can
have in
clean.
Hinesville. And when they don't want to work hard, but they still want to get paid, then they start acting like they can't speak English. And my
Mm,
words to them, if it's not done, you don't get paid. So,
that's right. My money don't speak English.
exactly. So there you have it.
y'all y'all silly.
I know I could be an excellent slave master.
But there's one thing I wanna throw in here that's biblical, that's apt to kind of what their what the subject is. It's out of Proverbs 28:1. And it says, the wicked flee when no man pursueth, but the righteous are bold as a lion. Think about all the times whenever black people come, what happens? White people run. They run. They flee and we're not chasing them.
yeah,
We're not
right.
chasing them. So, when you have the spirit to run, I just leave it at that. I'm not saying all white people are wicked because that I'd be lying. But in general, there are difference between white people and people who are white. If you don't understand what I said, you'll never understand what I said. Just like there's black people and people who are black. And we know we know the difference and they know the difference. They just don't want to, they're just a lot more quiet about their other people's. Go back to you, Dabs. I'm sorry.
No problem. No, good. That's what it's all about. In the conversation in. All right, I'm gonna play another video. This one's a little bit more back to the other side. It's a little more funny, but see what you guys think of what this guy is saying. There.
as a result of our reporting, and that there is no room for racial discrimination in Arkansas or anywhere in a free society.
If you don't see what is taking place in America when in Arkansas they have now established a whites-only town in 2025, I want to tell that town who will not allow black people to live there, God bless you. But since you won't let black people move into that all-white town in Arkansas, I wanted to read for you your HOA. Since black people can't live there. In Arkansas, zoom the camera in. I got to tell y'all this. If you live in that whites-only town in Arkansas where black people are not allowed to live, here's your rules of engagement for the neighborhood association. Only put up stop signs. Because if you put up a red light, a black man made that. Pull it down. In that all-white town, only serve your kids jelly sandwiches. They can't eat peanut butter because a black man made that. When you build your houses, don't use a vacuum cleaner because a black man made that. When you go to press your clothes, don't use an ironing board because a black man made that. If you got an iPhone, throw it away because all of the ingredients on the inside come from the soil of Africa. Don't use it there.
This community in the US state of Arkansas is being developed exclusively for white residents.
All right, we'll say that one.
I love that man. They may talk about him harshly, about being a womanizer, but he's a bad boy. And I went to his church when I was in Atlanta, and he put it all the way down. I like him. I do.
I do too. I never been to his church, but I like to hear him talk. He talks the truth. He talks like a regular person and not just a preacher. So everybody will understand him. But he was telling the truth on here. If you want to be in an all-white town, use only all-white inventions. Because guess what? Everybody, the majority of the people who created this United States were not white. They were not white.
You know, I had a principal. I'm in education. Well, I was in education, so I can say what I want to say now because I'm retired. But I had a principal who told me I was pro-black. I said, call me what you want, but I'm gonna do the same thing for Rahim, as you do for little Billy. So you know, that we bumped heads, and she was the principal. So of course I left her school. I sure did. I showed out. I showed out professionally, and then went down to the superintendent's office. And of course, she let me go to the school that I wanted to go to, which was predominantly a black school. But I finished up my year having the best time with my people. And she called me pro-black because she's married to a white man. And I would call her name out, but I ain't gonna do it to her because she knows she's a Auntie Tom. She's not an Uncle Tom. She's a Auntie Tom. So if you listening or if you happen to come across this video, that's right. Dr. Fabulous said it about you. And I stand 10 toes down that once you marry a white man, baby, you're not superior. You're just his mammy. Okay, now I'm getting a phone call. Y'all continue on.
All right, anybody else?
That's that white principal calling her.
Right.
Oh God. Yeah. But I mean, she does have a point. You know, you love who you love. I'm not gonna sit up here and say that. But, you know, a lot of white people equate being pro-black with being anti-white. And those can be farthest from the truth, because when we say we love black people, we're saying we love ourselves. When they say they love white people, they mean they hate everybody else. That's what it seems.
Yeah.
So So when we do that, from James Brown, Say It Loud, everybody already knows the rest of it. I'm black and I'm proud, young, gifted, and black. And there was a song in the 70s called I'm a Free Man. I don't know if y'all remember that one. I don't remember who sang it, but I'm a free man. I'm a free man bragging about it. Y'all would know the song if y'all heard it. But it was in the from the late 60s to the early 80s, black consciousness rose. And then we had the crack era. And as we were coming out of the crack era, black consciousness came through where we were like, go to school. It was popular to go to an HBC. It was knowledge was gaining knowledge was the first step in freeing yourself from the oppressive systems that were in place. So what they do, they brought in ultra gangster rap. They got rid of all the conscious rappers. Now, since 2020, and we're like, we're not taking being beaten, shot, and killed by the police. They're saying that we're against law enforcement. No, black people are never against law enforcement. They're against unequal application of laws and of laws. And that's how it's always been. The law has been the law. The problem is not the law per se. The problem is the application of laws. So when white people say that I want to build a white town, we don't have a problem with that. Go ahead. However, if we were to say the same thing, they were like, "Well, what y'all trying to do? Y'all trying to rebel? Y'all trying to have start a rebellion, a revolution? What? Why can't you know?" We're not exclusive. We're inclusive. Whatever we've done, we've been inclusive from our Greek organizations. Yes, we were predominantly black, but we weren't discriminated if you wasn't black. And our schools, we had to get schools because we couldn't get in their schools. So we had to make our own. And now they're trying to say, well, y'all got your own. No, we didn't have our own. We made our own. There's a difference. Land grants, the unequal application of public assistance. A public assistance didn't become a bad thing until black people were allowed to get it. A lot of things that, a lot of the welfare programs, the social programs were not intended for us because they thought we weren't supposed to get anything. And yet we persevered. Who did that poem? Who wrote that poem? Still I strive, or still I y'all know what poem I'm talking about.
Still
I
I
want to say,
rise.
yeah,
Maya Angelou.
yeah.
Maya Angelou.
So if you look at that and you're talking about adversity, overcoming adversity, and just dealing with the hand that you were given, you would understand that we're just tired of being pushed around. And that's why we had Chair 10th in 2023. That's why when that professional racist went to Los Angeles and tried to get in black people's space, he let's just say they laid hands and delivered him from his senses. I'll leave
Effed
it
up
at
and
that.
found out.
Yeah, yeah. They delivered him from they delivered they corrected his way, and I bet he won't do it again. But he's doing it other places where he knows where he can do it.
Right.
And that's just it's cowardly, but the wicked flee when they're not being pursued. That's Psalms 28:1. So y'all know who stands and who runs.
DFG, I
But
think you're gonna be a preacher in a minute, man, because you know them scriptures. Your mama must have sent you to Sunday school.
well, that's the only time we got meals on Sundays. But
I
that's
was
another
about to say
story.
that's the only time we got a good meal on Sunday.
Yeah, we was in church every Sunday.
Reverend White and Mrs. White. They were
Yeah.
pastors of a church, and that's when we got our Sunday meal, so we had to pay attention.
Oh yeah,
Well, all
definitely.
right now.
Go ahead, Madam D.
Yeah, you hear about all the ICE stuff that they're doing, but they haven't told the story about when they went up in New York trying to arrest the Haitians, and there was so many of them, they ran them out. And the same thing with Compton. I
Well,
think one of them got shot in Compton, but they didn't tell it.
no, they won't tell that.
No, they will not tell that because that's not. They don't tell their. They always have excuses, and every time they say something, it's actually a confession.
Yeah.
Every accusation is a confession because for years, growing up, we were misinformed. We were talking about black Africans were cannibals, but they were black people wasn't eating other black people. White people was eating black people. White people were wearing black people's skin. White people would taking black people's teeth and using them as their own. George Washington did not have wooden teeth. He had the slave people's teeth. So, it's every and all the stereotypes about us being lazy, being shiftless, all of those came from Europeans talking about Europeans while Africans in America were enslaved. The
Sorry,
shiftlessness, laziness.
got a quick question. Did you say he had the slave teeth?
Yes, his teeth were from enslaved people. They don't say that much, but it's a fact.
Wait, so help me understand this now. He took the teeth from a slave.
From his enslaved population and put them in his mouth.
Wow.
When he had, because everybody they said he had wooden teeth.
Uh-huh.
And what they told
That's
us,
what I always thought from the stories.
Yeah,
told us that
no, he
So
uses
wait a
slave.
minute. I can't even imagine. So you beat a slave, the slave die, you take their teeth out their mouth and put them in your
Die.
head.
They had to die. He's not going to kill his property. But he going to
Hey,
take
they
it.
can't hear you on mute.
I don't mean
Well, now you're not.
I wasn't.
Oh wait. So he just took the people's teeth and glued them in his head.
I don't know how. I don't know how it was done. I don't know how it was done, but
Dr.
it was
Fabulous
done.
she just in awe of this.
Oh,
Yeah, because I can't even imagine taking somebody else's teeth and putting them in my head.
That's what they did.
I just pulled it up. Old.
And then they took black people's like pubic hair and other hair and stuffed it in furniture. So be careful about that antique furniture that you get because it's probably stuff with black people's hair.
Mm-hmm.
What you mean,
So,
like pillows?
pillow,
Furniture.
couch cushions.
Yeah.
They ain't have styrofoam. I mean, what's that material? That fluffy material? They ain't had that back then.
They shaved us and put our hair in there. My sister bought an antique sofa from somewhere, and she said that they were gonna get it reupholstered, but she said hair started falling out of it. I told her, I said, yeah, that was from our ancestor.
Wow. They was doing that here, and then the Great Fire of Jacksonville, they was taking the Spanish moss off the tree and stuff and making mattresses with them. That stuff is not good for you skin.
Probably selling it to the black folk.
That's what burned down Jacksonville.
But you see the history though is that, like I said, it goes back to every accusation is a confession. And when they say they want an all white town, they want the conveniences that other people bring, but they don't want to deal with their own inner turmoil. Because, I mean, let's look at it. Wherever Europeans went, the native population died. And think about everybody in here has seen the Matrix, right? The first Matrix.
Yeah.
And do y'all remember when Agent Smith had Morpheus in the chair,
Yeah.
and he said humanity reproduces like only one organism in the world, and this in nature is a virus. He wasn't talking about black folks. Because think about that. Think about that. Who's gone all over the earth and destroyed and took over wherever they went
Mm.
and
Oh, I'm
left
sorry.
the left the place
British.
worse than
Trump. Oh,
no, worse than when they
I'm
got
not on
when
mute.
they you know what I'm saying? So y'all, I mean, they can call me racist, but I ain't got no power to do anything to do against black. I mean, I can't affect any white people. I can't throw them in. I ain't got no jail to throw them in.
Well, I did tell that lady, I say, ma'am, I say, you are devoting all your support and energy to a president that don't even like you. You don't make enough money.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. They don't care how poor they are, just as long as they're not black.
They've been conditioned and brainwashed to that we even scientifically, back in science, there were scientists that said black people were inferior because we had small brains and all kind of craziness, and they were conditioned that they were superior, and they were given jobs that they didn't deserve. And, even though they had DEI and affirmative action, the white women benefited heavily. But soon as Trump got in, he got rid of the black women and he got rid of them white women. So what did you gain?
Yeah, I agree, Big Al.
Do you have a specific question? But I
Oh no, I thought
do.
you was going to say something.
Oh no. I was just listening.
Okay. Back to you, Dabs.
All right. Well, that's pretty much. Well, wait a minute. I'm gonna do this one last one, and it's just a really short one with that guy and his. I guess it just strikes me how misunderstood. I don't know, not misunderstood. He is just misunderstood. He is misunderstood about the world, I guess, itself. So let me go ahead and do this last little video.
We're risking our well being. We're not just hiding like most people today. We're not just hiding. We will not achieve victory. Our people will not survive unless the tiny minority of us who gets what's happening, really gets it, is willing to collectivize, put your money where your mouth is, put your time where your mouth is, I guess, where your heart is, put your time where your heart is. Live consistently with your values. You want a white nation? Build a white town. It can be done, and we're doing it.
That's just. I mean, he has a point. He's not wrong, but to build something like that, they still need people that can do stuff.
Right.
And as we know, he said collectivize. What's that sound? What form economic system does that sound like? It don't sound like capitalism.
Oh,
It don't sound like freedom. Said put your money where your mouth is. That sound like socialism or communism, doesn't it?
exactly. Communism. Put your money where your mouth
But
is.
you can't tell them that though.
No.
It's just crazy how people look at things and how we, how we see things within our purview, and it's just not there. It's really
Right.
not there because they don't want to, you know, they want us to suffer, but they don't know they cutting their own throat. They cutting their own throat when they do that. You know, that's the thing. You go after us, you cutting your nose to spite your face. But we're gonna cut the show a little early today, and I appreciate everybody that came on. Hopefully y'all learned something. And before we go, I'm gonna end this on a funny note. Just give me a second.
I learned something because I learned about them teeth tonight.
Well, here you go. Gotta show you the teeth.
Yes. Y'all got to pull up a
And
picture and show it
I
to
got it
me.
right here.
You gonna give me a picture?
Yeah. And it even
I'm
says,
talking about of the president's teeth.
yeah, right there. You see them?
No, I don't see any teeth. I see a
no,
man with a boom box
hold on. I'm gonna stop sharing. Go
standing
ahead.
in
Go ahead.
front of a men.
Yeah, there
Oh,
you go.
okay.
There you go.
Those are not wooden.
No, and it even says on this when I looked it up that I'll move. There you go. George Washington's dentures were not made of wood, as commonly believed, but from materials such as hippopotamus, ivory, gold, and lead. Some of his dentures even included human teeth, which were sometimes acquired from enslaved. It's not enslaved, it's slaves. I wish they changed that language. Individuals of Mount Vernon Estates.
No. Okay,
Well,
well, I thank you all
that
for
idea.
that. Because all this time I thought he had wooden teeth.
That's what we learned in school.
See, but that's why it's called his story.
Yeah, yeah. It's his story. When he was,
And they keep it in the libraries. That's where they bury the lies.
that's why
They
you got
say
research.
the slaves, Abraham Lincoln did not free us. Abraham Lincoln made a decision because he would have kept us slaves if he could have preserved the Union.
Yep.
He did not have any benevolence and he
No.
actually still had slaves.
He still had slaves.
Oh yeah. And here's a crazy part. I remember when I was in high school, one of my science teachers, Mr. Chambliss, George Chambliss, he was also a mortician. He was like, Lincoln didn't free the slaves. That's like saying back then saying the Soviet Union is now a democracy. You was talking to another country.
Yeah.
So the Emancipation Proclamation was mainly for those in the Union, not the Confederacy. So
Right.
think about that. Think about that. But just check this out for a good laugh.
That's what I thought. Fuck yeah!
Wow.
Now, see, that's the same thing I was talking about. Why he had to rescue a white woman.
Welcome to Earth.
Wow.
Just it was just funny because what it was, Dr. Fab, is they were he was just, you know, it was just going through all the 80s movies, the lady in the 80s movies from this movie called Weird Science. And that was
Oh,
supposed to
from
be
that.
Gina Davis's character.
Yeah.
So that's what that was. But yeah, it was well, except for the Neo part. But that was just something to give y'all a little laugh before we had a less serious note so everybody can have a little something to go on. I want to thank Big Dabs for hosting this show. Very, very informative, very thorough. And I'm going to ask you in the future. And if anybody got a subject, just let me know. DELITE, the number 7 at gmail.com. I I have no problem. I have no problem spreading the wealth. I also want to thank my favorite girl, the Chocolate Pearl. Her husband did an excellent job. I want to thank my Thursday co-host, the one and only Dr. Fab, and Madam D, and of course, as always, Big Al. With the man with the man, the myth, the legend. Hey, Big Al, I'll see you next week for AFCA TechNet.
Okay, I look forward to it.
All right, all right. So y'all be good. And like I said, like I always say, never make love by the garden gate. Though love is blind, the neighbors ain't. See y'all next Tuesday.
Good night.
Not everybody.